Hey, welcome back. All right, let's get into this. We're going to take a little peek at today's topic video. It is for the 12th. The 12th brings up the Woman of Discs, so the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is the energy of somebody who's like really working hard, putting their energy into something. Somebody could be very money focused. We could have a feminine, Virgo, Capricorn, or Taurus specifically that's going to be all about the Benjis. I feel like this is somebody who's like an artisan, or maybe they're a chef, maybe they're doing like fine detail work, making jewelry. There's lots of different things, but whatever a character does, it seems like it's about they're hard at work, and it looks like somebody is noticing this and possibly getting quite turned on. As Ace of Wands is passion, and we see somebody obviously staring at them to the point where they're like, oh man, you make me think of a piece of music. You notice how we have music notes here? I feel like someone is thinking, gosh, I found an individual that I love to watch them work. I see their worth. I see what their power is. That Queen of Pentacles, by the way, somebody could have a really lovely like Persian rug, like maybe a hand woven, or maybe is kind of looks like the pattern to it could be like a Southwestern also. So maybe a Native American woven rug or something. Such beautiful work. Just as a side note, there's a really beautiful rug involved in this. But this Queen of Pentacles is being observed. She's being watched, and she is somebody that another person is like falling for, or, it's like, I'm hearing that song by Elvis, his rendition, But I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. They could have blue eyes, whomever this is who's watching her. We have a Three of Pentacles. This is somebody who's like, if they have this very romantic idea and they're quite passionate about this Queen of Pentacles, they're thinking about a long-term scenario. They're thinking about, oh my gosh, not only is she somebody that I am passionate about, but I want her on my team. Heck, this could be, passion doesn't have to be lust, okay? It doesn't have to be like that. This could be somebody who's inspired by her, and it's like, oh my gosh, I want to work with her. I want her on my team. If she's a business owner, this could be somebody saying, oh my God, look at how, like, whatever she does it so well. She's a total master of her craft. I want to work for that person. I want that to be my boss. So we could look at this in a lot of different ways, but we certainly have somebody who's like, wow, I am so impressed right now. So I would just say that we definitely have somebody who wants to work with her. They're very impressed by her, whatever she does in her work, but they're thinking that they could join forces with her. This could still be about romance. Eight of Cups, Five of Swords. Oh, hang on now, because this is either that she seems like a solitary creature. Whomever is watching her with very good opinions is recognizing she seems to be doing it by herself. So I'm guessing that at some point in time, somebody excels in their own thing as a solo individual, whether they're just excelling in their own life, they're excelling in their own business, they're in charge of everything, and they're doing it on their own, and they're a freaking catch. Then you could probably guess that, like, did they end up doing stuff on their own because they weren't getting treated right by somebody, and so that's how they ended up single? Did they just choose to walk away from hostility, or did somebody walk away from them? How is this awesome person alone? How is this, great business person, out there? I've seen like street performers that are so talented, and you're like, how are they not, getting paid to do whatever their craft is, their art is? They look like professionals. They're better than some of the professional performances I've seen. So how is it that they're not, a big name? And I'm just giving that example because it says that we have someone who's very, very much impressed with this Queen of Pentacles and is kind of thinking along those lines, like, wow, she is somebody that I would give anything to like be with, work with, build a future with, but she's alone. What happened? What's her story? What's the Five of Swords? It kind of looks like they're imagining like, oh, she must have had a bad go round with something. We get the Two of Wands and it is sideways. The Two of Wands sideways, they're wondering, did she not want to pick somebody? Is she choosing to be alone? There must be a reason that I see her, not with somebody. There must be a reason. Maybe she doesn't want someone. Maybe it's on her, by her own choice. Wheel of Fortune. It's so funny though, because this person says, but then why would I be encountering her and meeting her if I'm impressed with her, drawn to her, and yet she doesn't want anybody? Then that would be a cruel trick of the universe to let me meet somebody who's like absolutely not interested, don't want anything to do with you, when I'm so impressed by this person. There must be a reason that I'm meeting her. I definitely feel like we have a character who believes in like divine providence or something. If I cross paths with somebody and I'm this struck by them, because I do feel like this person, come on, I mean, we've got music playing, we've got their eyes glued to her, we've got this huge surge of creativity and passion and this imagination of what a long-term situation could look like and how, incredibly, fertile it could be. They're like, this has to be a gift that I came across her. She's available. She's here. It has to be a gift because it has to work. Because if I just met somebody who's everything I've been looking for and they don't want anything to do with anybody, that would just be mean. Why did I have to meet them in the first place then when they're just what I've been looking for? So I think that this character says, no, I'm going to believe that there's a reason that I met this Queen of Pentacles and that there's no way that, she or he is going to say, absolutely not, I'm not interested. Okay, Queen of Pentacles, let's get your story. Two of Cups. What does that mean? Queen of Pentacles, are you open to meeting a Two of Cups, or is it that you've been looking for one, huh? So she is, wait a second. We got two people watching, right? We got the big old eyeball here. We got her staring over here. Hang on. Do we have a situation of some secret watcher? Like I'm watching you, you're watching me. We're both interested in each other. She feels connected to somebody and she's watching somebody. Here we go again. I'm watching somebody. The Lovers, the Hermit, and I'm single because I want that one person. I want that one person. Look, this could be our blue-eyed person. They show up as a blue bird. Somebody could, like the color blue could be really important to them. Maybe they like the color. Maybe they like the word. Maybe that's in their name somehow. But blue is associated with them. And I'm going to go ahead and say that that is, somebody may have nice blue eyes, whether it's her, whether it's them. But we certainly see, like, whomever this person is, she already knows she waits for them, or she's been single because she wants somebody a lot like them. So she's a Queen of Swords and a Queen of Pentacles. She's very particular. She knows what she likes. And if this person who is spying on her is at a distance, and that would make sense because I didn't think of it that way at first, but I don't know if she does something for a living that this person, sees her post stuff on, whatever, social media, Facebook, Insta, whatever it might be. Maybe she's like I said, like an artisan or something. Maybe she's, a food influencer or, something where they're able to see her through that method, watching from afar kind of thing and being so impressed with her. But then she's over here aware of them and she admires them. She already thinks that they're really important. Two of Cups and the Lovers. And she's like, I either it says that she's looking for somebody that she could fall in love with, or she has already said, I know there's somebody special. I keep tabs on them and I don't really want anybody else. Because the blue, I feel like this is the same person. The bluebird is them who is watching her. But can I just ask bluntly, do you know this person who watches you? Is this who you are holding your breath for, waiting for? Hanged Man in the reverse, and she's in a blue dress. So we're going to say it's The Hanged Man, if it were upright, meaning this direction, would have been, I wait for somebody, and I see things through a different perspective. Here, and then I have to mention on this card, you notice that it's like I'm slowly unraveling things. Here, it's almost like, well, I don't have the ability to make things go any faster with the person that I'm, interested in. But I wear my blue dress, and I assume that when the time is right, I'm asking, is it the same person? By the way, that's Piscean energy, which can be very dreamscapey. Ten of Swords. I don't know. Maybe she's starting to wonder if there is either if this person has any interest in her, and she's like, I think I'm about at time's up. I think I got to quit thinking of this person because, if somebody hasn't come toward me, even if I've kind of fallen for them and I've been holding on to space in my heart for them, and I've kind of been waiting on them and kind of been alone for them, but I don't know how much longer I can wait for that person. I'm going to say it is one and the same. Somebody she wishes would like fly into her life, somebody she wishes would show up, but I think that they haven't. And I think she's thinking, I think this is foolish for me to hold on to this idea that, one fine day they're going to come into my life. By the way, speaking of music, what is it? Un bel dia, one fine day. That is from Madame Butterfly. So somebody could like opera music. That could be her. It's a great aria. So sad, so heartbreaking, but so great. I really like Puccini and Verdi. We have the World card upright. Okay, so I do think that she's thinking it's about time maybe. I should probably start a new cycle. Let's go over to this individual, whomever they are, who's like wondering what is her situation, because I'm really interested in her. Knight of Wands. Okay, so they're feeling, again, all hot and bothered. By the way, this could be a same-sex couple, order of interest here. Doesn't have to be, doesn't matter one way or the other, but we do have them perpetually, like with wand energy, passionate. Like I feel like they're quite lusty over her. Three of Cups in the reverse, but again, they don't know. Is she single? Would she want anything to do with me? They don't know what her situation is, but I'm wondering, why have you not asked her? Queen of Cups, Ace of Cups, Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. If it boils right down to, look, I watch her, I'm really interested in her, more so now than ever. There's this message on the 12th where it's like, I'm more interested in her than ever. I admire her more than ever. I'm wondering more than ever what her situation is. The reason I'm not saying anything is maybe because there's this energy of, what if she is single, available, and this is going to be the love of my life? Am I ready to meet the love of my life? I definitely want passion, but I keep saying I don't know what her situation is, but maybe I'm not ready to find out. Or maybe I'm not ready to find out if her answer is no. If there's no chance, then maybe this is why they're like, I haven't wanted to hear a no. But, we already saw this character saying, but I'm so passionate about her, and there's just no way that I could have met somebody or come across somebody that I so admire, but I haven't, but they're not available. I just don't get what their spying energy is, and knowing so little about each other, but then having like so many hopes pinned on this when they haven't yet. Look, it's not like I'm saying that you can't fall in love with somebody that you have seen and you have admired from afar, because absolutely. But in this storyline, I'm just asking, why have they not had any interaction yet? And we can see they might be saying, well, I've been afraid to find out what if she is with somebody else, although I think she's alone. But then it would dash my hopes on the rocks of being with her. And on her side, we have an Eight of Swords. There's this weird blockage where it's like, I don't know what's on his mind, and my hands seem to be tied. So she's saying, I can't reach out to him Why can't you reach out to him? Two of Wands. It keeps feeling like these two are in very different places on Earth, right? Now, there's also a certain element of pride. Maybe she's like, I won't reach out to them. Or maybe she's saying for the balance of this potential relationship, I would have to see them want to move toward me. Now, again, some of her ego could be in this. Maybe that's why she's like, I can't reach out to them, but it's not like I'm prohibited from reaching out. It's like, oh my God, I can't, pearl clutch. um, yeah, Nine of Swords. There's a lot of stressy nights, I think, that these two are having about each other, specifically on the 12th. They're kind of both thinking about this. They're thinking about each other real heavily, but it seems like it's about the right time for two people to maybe start to engage. So let me just change decks and say, are these two going to engage with each other at some point in the not too distant future? Yay or nay? Four of Pentacles. That is still holding back. The World card, the Queen of Wands. Okay, but if they're holding back right now because they're still, we already said they may be at a great distance from each other, it's like there's no point in us trying to start communicating and trying to start something if we're not in the same hemisphere or we're not, on the same side of the earth. So there may be a valid reason to wait a little bit longer, and even why these two are like spying on each other from a distance, but not starting anything. It actually does kind of make sense, because until you're like in the same zip code, it could be, just really tough to, especially for a very beginning. Knight of Swords, though, it says as soon as it's feasible, these two will connect. And we have written conversation, but it's like when I'm headed back in, there was something about him possibly flying back, and now we have like flying. I don't know if it's like we'll reach out once we've completed something, once the distance between us is getting shored up, once we can kind of fly back into each other's worlds, once there's an opportunity to get closer, then we can talk. Then a move will be made. So as it stands right now, nobody's making a move to engage. They're just kind of longing and watching from afar is what I get. All right, and then let's pull one card for somebody whose birthday is on the 12th. We have the Hierophant. Awesome. This could be a year of developing great shamanic gifts. This could be somebody who's really sitting with like their spirit animal, their power animal, trying to develop greater wisdom, being more of an open conduit to, like the universe. Somebody who's really going to say, I want to receive wisdom. King of Cups. I feel like there's a ton of spiritual growth this year. And then there's also possibly in the realm of relationship, there's great love, great understanding, great compassion, and possibly attracting a great love story. Now, this is very specific for old souls. If somebody's birthday is on the 12th, that is an old soul, or perhaps are more mature in age, this could be a couple that, has an opportunity at a very great love story. And they could be, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 110 years old. It's not too late. We have real love for either old souls or mature individuals in that message. But there's also, this heralds in a year of great spiritual development as well as a love story. That's very nice. All right. Thank you for being here. Thanks for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. Bye.